We'll bring you the details of all those stories, but Sandra has got your summaries tonight.
Yes. Let me welcome you once again to Business Live, and we go straight to our summaries for today. And before we do that, going for the main stories this evening, let's go for the summaries tonight. And it's about 1,000 businesses to benefit from government support, and also coming up, governments ready to tackle illicit maritime activities. We have these and so many more from the international world in today's summaries.
Following the change of name of Barclays Africa Group to Absa Group, Barclays Bank Ghana has announced it will be renamed at a later stage, subject to regulatory and other approvals in Ghana. A statement issued by Nana Esifua Boyson, Director of Marketing and Corporate Relations at Barclays Ghana, said, until then, the bank will continue to trade and operate under the Barclays brand in Ghana, even though our parent name has changed to Absa Group Limited. Ghana has been ranked 103rd most economically free country in the world out of 159 affected by the survey. This was disclosed by the resident fellow. About 1,000 businesses in the private sector are to benefit from loan facilities from government by the end of the year to empower the informal sector and promote growth. An additional 1,000 young entrepreneurs, specifically women, and 500 fiscally challenged persons will have access to soft loans to build and grow their small businesses. The Minister for Business Development, Mr. Ibrahim Awal, who announced this in Kumasi at a breakfast meeting with the chief executive officers of private sector in Ashanti region, said the government still valued the private sector as the engine of growth, hence the need to support it. The chairman of the National Maritime Security Committee of the Ghana Maritime Authority, Kwame Owusu, has said Ghana is ready to do away with any illicit maritime activity. According to him, Ghana is investing in equipment such as satellite imagery, ships, drones, and vessel traffic managing information system, among other equipment to prevent illicit activity. And Google has been fined a record 4.34 billion euros over Android. The European Commission said the firm had used the mobile operating system to illegally cement its dominant position in general internet search. The firm's parent Alphabet has been given 90 days to change its business practices or face further penalties of up to 5% of its average daily turnover. EasyJet has complained to the European Union about strikes by French air traffic controllers, which have caused thousands of flights to be cancelled. The industrial action has cost the airline £25 million and resulted in more than 2,600 flights being cancelled in the 3 months to June. Chief Executive Johan Langren argued EU laws was being breached by failing to protect flights over France. A failure to take action was breaching citizens' freedom of movement, he said.
So those were our summaries for today. We'll take a quick break, but when we come back, I'll also be back for the main story for the day. We've been talking about the budget review all week. And so when I come back, we have some policies that were outlined in the 2017 budget. Our in-house analyst, Philip Nafuru, will be joining me to discuss into details whether we are on track or we have more room for improvement. We'll be right back after this break.
Well, welcome back to Business Live. Let's fill you in on today's running stories. Economist Professor John Gachi is urging government to concentrate much effort on widening the tax net. He says it is a much prudent way to tackle current challenges with revenue rather than increase taxes. Professor John Gachi has been speaking to Joy Business ahead of the mid-year budget review by the Finance Minister.
The correct approach is widen the tax net. And what we have not been able to do over the years is that it's as if we are not aware that widening the tax net means we need to invest in the processes, infrastructure, the IT systems, electronic system that is needed to ensure we widen the tax net. So we have not been investing in that area. How many years is it taking us to complete our work on national identification system? More than 10 years. So is that a country that is demonstrating that it is interested in investing in the processes that are needed to widen the tax net? The answer is no. So if we fail to make huge investment in the processes that will lead to widening the tax net, why will you come abruptly especially at the time that the government has clearly indicated its policy orientation towards taxation, that they don't believe in increasing taxes. Why will you do it at this time? So it becomes inconsistent with your policy orientation. So we need to go back to invest in the processes that is necessary to expand the tax net.
Well, definitely we'll be following that presentation for you, and we will have full coverage tomorrow of all the events that take place in Parliament. Well, let's turn to other news now. Some fisher folk have expressed their reservations about the closed fish season in August. They disagree with the timing and lament about the negative economic implications on their livelihoods. Charles Aite has been engaging some fisher folk at Jamestown and comes through with this report.
There should be some effort to compensate us. If each fisherman is given at least 500 cedis in the span of the ban, it could calm nerves.
During the closed season, we need to be given some compensation. We have families to fend for.
Yes, we need a compensation. If they want to bring us a compensation, it shouldn't be by this time, because this is getting to festival. You understand me? And in August is the day that fishermen also go to fishing, and they also get their results from fishing.
Behind me are distraught fisher folks who are saying that the timing on the ban on fishing from August 1st is very much not going to be in their favor. They are calling for a compensation from government in this regard, saying that it's either you pay us now or we revert to going on fishing on August 1st. We get to speak to some fisher folks as well, those who really sell these fishes, to get to know what exactly their situation is here at the Jamestown Fishing Harbour in Accra. The Jamestown Fishing Harbour is an old popular spot which attracts many fishmongers, some of who store their stock in refrigerators for sale later. This is where to visit should you want to buy fish and get them prepared for home. These fish sellers hint the cost of fish risk going high, between 10 and 20%, should the one-month ban be anything to go by. Nadede is a fishmonger at Jamestown. She explains to Joy Business how expensive fresh fish will be after the closed fish season.
The price of fish will definitely shoot up during the closed season. A box of fish going for 500 cedis will go for 700 cedis during and after the ban. We have no choice.
The submission by Nadede resonates with other fishmongers who lament what the negative effect the ban on fishing could have on their businesses.
Price of fish will go up. We have no choice but store the little we have for the close season. Most of us have no dependents, and we always rely on loan facilities. The cost of fish is relative, but it will be increased across board during the close season.
If I bought and stored a box of fish which cost me 500 cedis, I have no option than to sell it for 1,000 cedis during the closed season.
The one-month ban on all fishing activities in the country takes effect from August 7th to September 4th and covers all fleet sizes, ranging from canoes, inshore boats and trawlers. From the 1st of August, when you visit the Jamestown Harbour and several fishing harbours across the country, you're going to be meeting a dead area. What I mean by this is that most of the fisher folk that you see here may not be here from the 1st of August or because of the closed season. Fisher folk across the country, especially those here at Jamestown Fishing Harbour, are kicking against this very directive. But the ministry is also still insisting this is the best way by which they could shore up the fish stock and, of course, improve the stock and the seas and across the several fishing harbours in that regard. It so far remains unclear what could be the state of fisher folk who are complaining about the economic effect this could have on their businesses, on their lives and their families as a whole. For Joy Business, I'm Charles Aite reporting at the fishing harbour here.
In other news tonight, telecoms giant MTN Ghana says it would give priority to retail investors when allotting shares after the initial public offering. MTN is currently on the market to raise about 3.47 billion cedis from the investing public. Speaking to Joy Business after a media engagement, Chief Finance Officer at MTN, Modupe Kadri, said the company is committed to ensuring that individuals take up most of the shares.
There are a number of unknowns that we have to know what the quantum of the proceeds are. And up to a certain threshold, we've agreed that we'll be able to upstream that this year. So beyond that, then we'll probably have to look at the proposals of staggering if that comes to play. But at this point, we've only agreed the principles. Once the IPO closes, we'll have an idea as to the uptake. And then we're going back to them to firm that up. And once it falls within the thresholds, then we should be able to agree way forward. It works both ways. For us, it's an opportunity to deepen the Ghanaian economy with an IPO of this size. The way we deploy technology through the mobile money platform is going to enable a number of retail subscribers, a number the like we've never seen in this country before. So that should stimulate some activity in the capital markets, just like the mobile money was able to stimulate activity in the mobile financial service space. So in terms of the size, well, the Ghanaian economy deserves this, and we're happy to, offer the 35% to the Ghanaians. And that would also stimulate some activity in terms of dividend payouts, more disposable income in the hands of the shareholders and stuff like that.
Some have even said that back-to-back and the fact that I get from you that priority will be given to the retail investors in whatever decision that you take post-IPO in terms of allotment.
That's about correct, because from a standpoint of view, one of the objectives of the NCA in insisting that we offload up to 35% of our shares is to enable the company to be owned by Ghanaians. So obviously, having a large Ghanaian base is more important to us. One of the KPIs that we've benchmarked internally as a success factor. So that was a good thing for us, and I think it's only fair that priority will be given to them.
While you're watching Business Live, after this short break, Sandy is back with a look at our major story for today. Still has got to do with the budget and putting Ghana back to work. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Business Live. And the 2018 budget had as its theme, putting Ghana back to work. Government outlined a number of programs and policies meant to provide jobs and others to bolster growth prospects in our economy, from the energy sector initiative to the infrastructure, and the list is quite tall. But we will be discussing a few of them and find out whether you have made a headway on them. And Joy Business in-house analyst and researcher Philip Namfuri joins me for the discussion. First of all, Philip, thanks so much for joining me. But have we been put back to work, or have you been put back to work?
Okay, that's a very interesting question, because I'm at work currently on air here. So yeah, I mean, that was a theme for the 2018 budget, putting Ghana back to work. Okay. And it's just mid-year. Some of these themes will be aptly represented at the end of the year. But there are a raft of policies and programs the government puts in place to address problems of jobs in the country. Yeah,
that brings me to job. We know we've been told that it will take 10 years to actually get some job for people, and NAPCO came in with some provision. They said they were going to employ about 100,000 graduates from school. Yeah. Are we on track with NAPCO?
Yeah, okay. Currently, we haven't heard anything official. What we are hearing through the grapevines is that in August, some will be recruited and then they'll start the process. We also heard that some are being interviewed currently. There's no official confirmation of that. But we know this was one of the measures in the 2018 budget to address problems in the country in terms of jobs. And graduates are very excited when they hear we're all getting jobs, are going to get paid and stuff like that. So maybe the finance minister may or may not touch on it, but I think in the discussions of the budget, the budget reviews for estimates, not programs and policies. You understand? This is just 6 months. Sometimes it's just to review macro targets, revenue, expenditure, and stuff like that. So even though we're discussing the budget, I think it's prudent to highlight on this to see how far we've done. So we should keep our eyes on the ground for this program.
One of the interesting areas in the 2018 budget for me personally is the Ghana Beyond Aid.
Very good, very good, very
good. So
where
are we when it comes to Ghana Beyond, and are we beyond aid now?
Okay, so I don't think we are beyond aid yet. That's a path we have to chart slowly. But on May 1st, the May Day celebrations in Kumasi, His Excellency the President spoke about the fact that they're going to put together a committee which will be chaired by the Senior Minister Yaosafo Mafo, where other ministries like the Finance Ministry, Labour Ministry will come together so that they can craft a framework that will put Ghana Beyond Aid in paper or in writing. It will be documented. And even Professor Bokpin of the University of Ghana Business, which is the head of the Finance Department, he backed this, also putting this into a document. Yeah.
Okay, are we likely to hear anything on the energy sector levy tomorrow? Okay,
so I won't say yes, I won't say no. I say we should keep our eyes peeled because, you know, the energy sector levies were securitized. And by securitized, I mean they were turned into a security to service the energy bond that was issued to clear debts in the sector. So we should keep our eyes peeled and see if there's anything that will come out of this. Yeah.
I see. It will be interesting to know what the finance minister will be telling us tomorrow.
Very, very interesting.
Thanks so much for joining us on Business Live. And we'll move on to the van. And Fana Limited was one of the prominent furniture companies in Ghana, but it began to struggle when its owners passed away. One of the brink collapse of the sector was to step to save the future of the manufacturing company. We have this on the Joy Business One.
Who didn't know Fernat in those days? At least for the middle and upper class, it was one of the best places to go for stylish furniture, and it was Ghanaian too. It was set up in the 70s by two leading families in Ghana, partnering with an Italian furniture designer. Fernat was leader in furniture and joinery, and its products found in businesses, homes or government offices. Its conversion of the State House to Parliament is perhaps one of the best works the company undertook. But things began to crumble after the original owners passed away. The leadership crisis affected its operations, and the commitment to quality drifted. That was when William Olmsted came into the picture. The American left a career in law to follow his passion for craftsmanship.
What really hurt was we lost the main intellectual and emotional drive of the company. At the same time, the economy became very unfavorable. CD started to be devalued, imports started to flood the market, and the government stopped buying from Ghanaian producers and started buying imports instead for many of its needs. And the combination of all of those things decimated the entire furniture industry.
William brought his experience in woodwork to bear, and with much investment in human resource, the quality was back again. Fernat currently has a workforce of more than 100 artisans, carpenters and craftsmen who produce a beautifully handcrafted furniture and joinery that everyone is falling in love with. The wood is sourced locally.
We have sold 3 times as much as we sold last year, this year already. We're approaching 3 times right now. And I don't know what the limit is. We're still working it out. We have, as I said, tripled our sales, and I think we could probably go 5, 6, 7 times sales and basically maintain the same workforce using the same relatively old tools.
William is a believer in made-in-Ghana products. He believes Ghanaian products can outcompete cheap imports.
I mean, if you go into the stores that are selling imports, you see products that are beautiful, sometimes very flashy, way too flashy for my taste, but nonetheless, they look good. But in general, the quality is not nearly as good. And in many cases now, what we're starting to see is people coming back to quality and understanding that the short-term gain of getting a cheap product to start with isn't worth it. One of the favorite lines I saw somewhere was that the sweetness of low price does not last nearly as long as the bitterness of bad quality. Because once your chipboard starts to fall apart, you got junk and you're just like, why did I waste my money on it?
Fernat is not wasting the opportunity to regain its position as a market leader when it comes to furniture here in Ghana. Indigenous firms like Fernat, William believes, can do more with support from government.
I think it's incredibly vital for countries to have value-added industries. If you're just an extraction, if your raw materials are just being sent someplace else, you're completely at the mercy of global markets for commodities. And it really kills you. So if we could develop or redevelop the industrial base that Ghana used to have, it makes the entire economy less subject to international fluctuations. In addition to all the jobs it provides and all the other advantages we have.
William has got great hopes for fan art, and he doesn't regret the move. All right.
No, I'm laughing. I know you know why I'm laughing.
Never mind. Well, so that was the story of William Olmsted, who had a career in law, left it all to come and invest in a furniture company because he has passion for woodwork.
Very inspirational story.
Very inspirational story.
Yeah.
And it tells us that people are coming to our country to invest and make things work.
And we are running away.
We can definitely make things work.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And so we wrap up for today on Business Live. And I've been doing, my name is Sandra Isenamafenu, and I've been doing this with
Daryl Kwao. Tomorrow is a big day, need I say. The budget, we are going to be covering it for you right here on JoyNews. Thanks for watching tonight. We are back same time tomorrow.